through it again.
Yeah,
Oh,
we'll
wait,
take
hold-
your live. Yeah.
Green Rngr Podcast. We're in the studio.
Oh wait. Nope.
Hey,
No, this way.
nice. Sweet.
Here is the podcast room,
There we go.
and then I put this up on for you too.
Sick.
Check out behind you.
Whoa. No way. That's awesome,
Yeah,
dude.
buddy.
You even got our colors and everything. That's so sick.
Yeah, man.
Thanks, dude. I appreciate it.
Oh,
This is
100%. Because so from my POV, I see you, and it shows that on my screen. So
Oh, that's
anybody
so cool.
who's anybody who's on my stream right now, definitely go give him a follow.
That's awesome. That's so sick.
And sub on YouTube too, because the guy's trying to grow some grow on there too.
Yeah, man, we're like 10 subs away from 500 on YouTube right now.
That's
500
crazy, man.
subscribers. Yeah. This is cool, man.
Man,
All right. So
It's crazy
if
how,
you want to start, we can definitely. I mean, we got kind of
yeah,
already
man. Of course. Well, let's start with an introduction. Go ahead and share a little bit about yourself and what you're about.
What's up, guys? My name is Noceros Gaming on YouTube, and I just do like fun, friendly, community-based like content. And I do Fortnite Zero build mostly, but I also do like some variety streams, and we have like a pretty good community going on. My Noceros is derivative of rhinoceros, and so my community is called the Crash because a pack of rhinoceros is a crash. So anytime somebody subs, we're like, welcome to the Crash, how's it going, guys? Like, we just keep it really positive. It's very similar to Green Ranger's community in terms of like being just friendly, and just a positive place for people to like try and get better at gaming. Basically is what the channel is all about, for sure.
Nice. Yeah, I've always kind of wondered what the Noceros came from, and I obviously from the logo I figured that much, but I didn't know what the big Y is, where you got the thing from.
Yeah,
So
actually,
is that
I
like
got
you have like a loving for rhinoceros kind of thing, or?
Yeah, so I had this like I really like rhinoceros as like an animal itself, but I had this this like head statue that it was like a paper craft that like a head mount, like you see like the deers like with the head mount and everything. Obviously it's like pretty messed up to cut off the head of hunting a rhinoceros, but I got this like paper craft of a rhinoceros head, and it was blue, and I put it over my gaming setup just because I liked the way it looked. And I ended up getting a PC after I used to play Xbox. I got a PC, and I was like, I need to come up with a whole new like persona for my gaming. And I was like, all right, so like I got this blue rhinoceros above my desk, like let's go with like a rhino type thing. And then eventually Noceros was born after a few iterations, basically. But yeah,
Interesting.
I have a background in film so I have a degree in cinema and film that I got from San Francisco State University. And so I've really been into like video production, but I also have like a really strong like work ethic. And so I always thought that gaming like was kind of like wasting my time a bit, and like because I felt like I had so many other things to do. And so I was like, how can I like mold like my work and my like play and make sure that I'm not feeling like I'm wasting my time, And so I started building out so I'm like, let's build a community, let's build like a stream, And so I'm using both of my professional background in order to like build out like a stream, and along the way trying to help as many small streamers as possible to like get their production quality like higher than they could otherwise. That's the goal.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting story.
Yeah.
Huh. So how many years did you say you did with film?
So I have been doing film since like forever, since I was probably about 12. I have YouTube videos. I actually went viral on YouTube when I was really young, but the channel, I didn't stick with the channel, and we were like on the top page of YouTube, and I think I was like 13 at the time, And but yeah, we didn't stick with it, and I always kind of regretted that. But I always thought that YouTube would be a good outlet for me to, you know, flex the creative muscles if I ever had like the need, you know. And
Yeah.
so I feel most comfortable on YouTube as like the platform, and I just wanted to like really build up my like YouTube community. Like I have a TikTok, I have a Twitch, I have Instagram, but most of my efforts go into the YouTube channel. And I think
So
there's
what
a lot
made you
of
choose YouTube over TikTok?
so TikTok, I'm trying to learn. I was like reached out to Green Ranger because I didn't understand TikTok actually. Because I was like, dude, this guy is like kind of similar to me. He's got like a similar. He's like nice. He's approachable. But my TikTok following is only like at 60 follows, and I don't go live like you do. You know, I don't know. I just like I cross post what I post on YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels and TikTok. And so I'm just like, you know, I'm just sitting on TikTok making sure that I have a presence here at the moment. But, you know, I haven't really like, I really want to build out YouTube has been getting like most of my attention. So I haven't like put as much focus into TikTok as I should or could, you know?
Yep.
But eventually once the YouTube is in a place that's like sustainable and is like, you know, good to go, then I'll start focusing on my other channels, probably build out my Twitch channel at that point, and then do TikTok. And it's mostly just like a matter of like bandwidth that I can't stream on multiple platforms at once.
Yeah. You need like a really good computer when it comes to that type of stuff. When you're trying to cross-platform stream, it requires quite a bit. Like I know some people who have like multiple cameras just for different streams.
Yeah.
And I mean, like that's dedication, I guess.
It's actually like two computers that you need to cross stream. And this is like a setup that is pretty common for people who even just stream on Twitch.
Yeah.
Is when they get to like a certain level, they will have a gaming computer and then they will have a streaming computer that they plug into the streaming computer. And so so that's how a lot of the big streamers do their setups. It's pretty interesting. Like once you get to the technical stuff, like, you know, I'm pretty in that world. So
but so you've had Xbox before. Is that what you started with when it came to gaming, like your, I guess, gaming career, let's call it?
Yeah, I would say my like the first console that I ever played was N64, so that has like you know,
N64.
Yeah.
Chad, tell me, you know what N64 is, right? That's crazy.
N64, Legend of Zelda. I still have an N64 actually, and I'll probably end up doing a stream with it eventually. I wanted to stream Ocarina of Time, some of my favorite.
That would be such a cool idea.
Yeah.
Mine was Super Nintendo. Oh my God, Stephanie in my
Nintendo.
chat said hers was Super Nintendo.
Nice.
I remember Super Nintendo. Yeah. I probably played it maybe a few times, but the oldest one that I played was Atari.
Oh wow. Did one of your family members have an Atari?
Yeah, somebody in the house had an Atari, and I remember playing. It was, I think, the Donkey Kong game, and then like the spaceship shooting game or some sort.
Yeah.
And I just remember it was just like a joystick and a little button on the top, and then there's on the little platform that the joystick's attached to, there's like maybe one other button, and that was all you used to play the whole thing.
For sure. I feel like I was always like a generation behind on consoles. Like my family didn't have like a ton of money, you know? So it's like I had the original Game Boy, like the big box gray one, before I had, and when everybody else had like the Game Boy Advanced and stuff, and like they were coming out with the SPs, and I'm still rocking the old Game Boy. I'm like playing Ninja Turtles and stuff. Like I'm like, this thing is huge compared to those. But yeah.
Oh, Stephanie in my chat said I have Sega Genesis.
Ooh, nice.
Damn, I could almost hear the intro. Sega.
Yep. For sure. But yeah,
Go ahead.
N64 has like a special place. And then I had PlayStation 1, 2, and then got an Xbox, and then Xbox 360, Xbox One, and now my PC. But my PC is also like a major editing machine as well. Like I got it for work originally, but I also wanted to be able to like game modern games on it. But that was like a pretty secondary reason why my build is the way that it is. But I've done some upgrades to it since, and now it is both like a major gaming machine and a very good editing machine.
Yeah, it definitely helps to have a little bit of oomph in your software and all that.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of gas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aiden in my chat said ask him who his favorite Power Ranger is.
Oh, my favorite Power Ranger, man, you gotta go with Tommy, dude. The Green Ranger.
Yeah, man, I know. Like
You have
couldn't.
to.
He's the only one to ever be more than one Ranger. He was like what, 5
Yeah.
or 6, I think it was.
Mhm.
No other person in the whole entire Ranger
Yep.
universe ever did that.
Yep. I'd say so. That's the easy answer. But like, I'd say like my favorite episode of Power Rangers is definitely like the Forever Red episode.
Oh my God, I love that episode. I just saw a clip of that on was it Instagram the other day.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
Forever Red is definitely the best episode of Power Rangers like of all time.
Man.
And if you haven't seen it, you should definitely like go look that up, and
Yeah.
it'll blow your mind.
Yeah.
That is one of those episodes that is just the most banger of bangers. Like the whole time, it's action packed.
Like talk about retro, because like I remember having a VHS DVD player.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if that's aging me or not, but
No.
I used to have one of those. I used to have a VHS player, but then when we started transitioning to DVD, I did have a VHS DVD player. And
Uh-huh.
one of the DVDs I had, it was one of the Power Ranger DVDs, and on it was about 5 different episodes, and it was the top most wild 5 episodes in like the previous seasons and stuff. And Forever Red, I was the first #1 on there.
Yeah. Yeah, that is probably the most.
That's how good that episode was. That's like Ranger history.
It is for sure. But then I would
Back
also
in
say
your
like
boomerang.
I'd say the best like season of Power Rangers, or the best like series, is in my opinion is Lost Galaxy. There's like
Really, Lost Galaxy?
some of the best writing ever is in that series. Like the Pink Rain. No, I can't even. You should go back and watch it. There's some major characters that die in that series, and like there's really like some serious like trauma that the Rangers go through in that season, and like major life events that occur. I feel like the Rangers went through like the most hardships in that series for sure. I mean, besides obviously the Psycho Rangers, which is crazy.
Oh, Psycho Rangers, yeah, the in space ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because Tommy was not even supposed to be in the Power Rangers for longer than 5 episodes. He was supposed to be the evil ranger, and then he was supposed to do his part, and then that was it. They were going to part ways, but then after being on, people just really gravitated toward him and found him so fascinating and liked his character. So then they're like, okay, well, the viewers are saying they like him, so we're going to keep him. And then he ended up becoming the rest of history. But like, he originally was not supposed to be on that long. He was only supposed to be on for 5 episodes.
Right.
That was the whole mini series they had. It was called Green with Evil.
Yeah, Green with Evil, and it was 5 parts. Yeah, and every episode was stressful.
Oh my gosh, the stuff they put them through! I'm like, this guy is straight up badass.
He's a villain, a real villain. He was a real villain, and
he just played a villain really well.
Yeah, and it's really, really sad that he's no longer like with us.
I see posts sometimes on Instagram or Twitter or anything like that relate. They'll say R.I.P. JDF and stuff, and I'll read the comments. People are like, "I'm still hurt" and stuff. I'm like, it's crazy. Like that one person had that much of an impact, on, and then like not only just people that are like older, but even younger people too, right? Like people that are even closer to like. this guy impacted a whole bunch of people, and
I mean, there's a lot
and
of
people
people
are still feeling it till this day.
There's a lot of people in your community alone that are like, younger and who are still like following the Green Ranger, so that's pretty huge, like,
Yeah.
so
I don't know, like, okay, so I guess I kind of got into like your story of where your name came from. So I never got into the story of how I got my name, obviously for obvious reasons. But so when I first made a TikTok account, I didn't really know what I was getting myself into. I was just, well, okay, backstory. I got into playing Zelda Breath of the Wild. It was like maybe a couple years ago, and I thought that was a pretty decent game. I never played Zelda prior to that. I was just,
Oh,
I don't know, I wasn't into it. I was never into it. But until
Yeah.
I played that, I was like, holy cow, this is actually a pretty decent game.
Mhm.
And then once I beat it, I was like, okay, well, now what do I do? So when one of my buddies, he was like, yo, why don't you play Fortnite? I'm like, you showed me before. I don't think I'm really down for it. I don't know if I'm really into that.
Mhm.
He's like, oh, come on, just try it. And I was like, humming and hawing. I'm like, well, I've got no other games left to play. It's like when you watch a TV show and then
Yeah.
it's over, and you're like, now what?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you beat a game, same thing, right? It's like, well, now what do I do, right? So
Yeah.
it's weird how just like one fraction of moment will be the thing that separates everything. Like if I didn't play the Zelda game, who knows? Would I have played Fortnite afterwards? I don't know. Like whatever, right? So I only started playing because I was living a far away city from where a lot of my friends and family lived, and so hanging out with people was always hard to do because schedules and times available, and also living about an hour away. So like it was a bit to handle, right? So what I thought was cool about Fortnite was that you're able to play as if you're like hanging out with your friends kind of thing, even though you're in way different parts of wherever. It's kind of like you're hanging out, because if say you're hanging out with your friends that like to play games too, if you're sitting on the couch playing with them, it's almost kind of like the same experience, right? And so I thought that was really cool, and it was like I kind of felt like I was hanging out with my friend in a way, so it was kind of nice. Kind of the stuff that I was missing, it felt like that was kind of filling me up a little bit in that way. Right. And so then over time, I started noticing that I was getting good at certain shots, and I would like, oh, I wonder, how do you save these things? And I looked it up, and then I found out that post party exists, and I was like, oh, cool. Well, I might as well save all these clips because that'd be so cool to look back on. And then eventually it just got so full, and I was like, okay, now it's like taking up so much space. I'm like, what am I going to do with all these clips now? Like, I'm not going to sit back and look at all these. Like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I guess I'll try to post them maybe. I don't know. We'll just kind of see what happens. I don't know. Let's just kind of wing it and whatever. And so my first video that I posted, I was using, was it an ice? I was like, what was it called? The Deku Smash, I think it was. Yeah, where the ice things would shoot out or whatever. And I launch a guy into the storm, and then I kill him, and I won the match. And then my caption, it was like, have a nice day, or have an iced day, or something like that, whatever, right? And then just kind of threw it on TikTok because I was like, whatever. Well, first, before I get into that part, to get my name, so when I first got Fortnite, I wasn't sure what my name was going to be. I didn't know what I was going to do with for a name at all. And so I was thinking, what do I like? What kind of things do I like? I'm like, well, obviously I do like the Green Power Ranger. I'm like, well, let me see if I can type in something about that. Maybe I can get a name to a tag that has that. Yeah. And so I typed in Green Rangr. And then there was nothing there. I'm like, okay, obviously, because how would there still be a name and whatever, right? So I tried different variations, and I said to myself, like, if I'm ever gonna have a gamer tag, I don't want to have like numbers and underscores and all these different like number, all that stuff, because it just I mean, say you start to get a little bit big and you pop off, like if you try to get a logo, you're gonna have all these underscores, ampersands, all the exclamation marks and stuff like that. It's just like, it's not gonna look good, like,
for sure.
Right. So then I was like, okay, well, let me try doing it I did so many variations of Green Ranger, and I tried doing different things. And I wanted to try to keep it as basic as possible. Yeah. And so then it worked out that I went RNGR after Green, and then it worked. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's kind of cool. That works. Okay, I'm fine with that. Like, whatever. It doesn't say RANGER. That's fine. Whatever. And then so after I did that, and I was like, okay, well, when I started making a TikTok, then I was like, okay, well, maybe I should make it match what my Epic is. So I was trying out, well, I first did like other various Green Ranger stuff to see if it would work, and no, it didn't. And then so I did the same thing as my epic, and sure enough, it did. So I'm like, okay, that's
Nice.
cool. I guess nobody else has this name, so I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, this is kind of cool. And then when I started posting, well, my very first post, yeah, it was about 800 something views. And I was like, I don't know if that's a lot or if that's a little, because I know that TikTok is a very big amount of people, and I'm like, I don't know if 800 is a lot or a little, but I was pretty excited about it, because I'm like, oh, that's crazy. I almost got 1,000 views off my very first post, you know what I mean?
Right.
So like, you get into that, like, oh my god, that feels so good, I want to keep it going kind of thing, right? Yeah, and so I started every other couple of days, I would have all these clips saved, and I'm like, okay, well, I might as well just post it. And I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just kind of like hitting the save, putting it to thing, and posting it, and then just maybe putting a caption in there, and that was pretty much all I was doing with it. And you know, I wasn't expecting to kind of gain followers. I was just like, you know, I'm just gonna post it just to post it. I don't even care. Like, it's just, I mean, there's clips that I'll take, and I think these are kind of cool. Like, oh, whatever, I'll just post it just for the sake of posting.
Right.
And then so after a while, yeah, when I would be posting it, and then I get a couple of views here and there, and then likes and all this stuff, I'm like, okay, this is kind of cool. I actually don't mind this. And then I don't know, then people would comment stuff, and then I'm like, okay, there's something here, I guess. And then over time, I just kind of started liking that there's something happening with it. And there was 1 week, I don't know how or what was happening, but I went from like 100 or 200 followers to about 900 within a week.
Yeah.
It was almost like near 1,000, and I don't know, every single day that I woke up, there was like 100 new followers out of nowhere, and I'm like,
right,
what the hell is going on? My buddy, he kept watching my page too, because we would always look to see, you know, what's happening, because I told him about it, and the one who got me into Fortnite. And so yeah, we would notice that it was like almost 100 every single day, and I'm like, is this gonna just keep going like this? Is this just gonna keep happening, I guess? Like, what do I do? And then I kept getting close to 1,000. I'm like, okay, well, I wonder what happens when you get to 1,000. And then so I looked up to see things. I'm like, oh, you can go live. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess maybe that'd be cool. So I was like trying to get follows and stuff, and just kept posting and posting. I'm like, okay, that'd be cool if I go live. Like, that'd be fun to do it one day. I didn't think of anything about being a streamer or doing this. Like, this is not the road I thought I was gonna have, or I was gonna end up on. You know, sometimes things just have an interesting way of working out, and sometimes, you know, like I've said earlier, is like, you know, if you have like a crazy idea, like, just, you know, be daring enough to explore. You know, because when you're old and your time is up, you're not gonna regret the things you tried. You're gonna be like, well, you know, you know what I mean? So you got to make your time count in certain ways, and you know, be okay with that. Sometimes your ideas might flop, but some of them actually might stick.
Definitely, yeah.
You know what I mean?
And we, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we both started like around the same time, right? Like, we both started our like streaming journeys like around the end of last year, correct?
Yeah, it was probably December, January-ish.
Yeah, I was like late November, and so we both like kind of popped up on the scene like at the same time. My story is like a little bit less like, you know, accidental, I guess. I like knew that I was gonna try and like build up a community. It wasn't just like I wish I had that story. That story's awesome, but like, you like just having a bunch of clips that you didn't really know what to do with, and then posting them. I was super intentional about my posts when I first started. When I was posting like 3 shorts a day with like as much editing quality as I could like justifiably put into each. It's like, you know, like I got to give myself a time limit on how much. And this is like how it is when you work in professional video editing too. It's like, you can't be a perfectionist. A lot of times you have to just like set yourself a time, and it's like as good as I could do in that amount of time, you know? So I make like, spend like an hour and a half a day editing shorts from like gaming, spend like 4 hours a day. And I literally like blocked out this amount of time for me to do all this, and started like building out the channel in hopes that it'll like become a community, and then like become like a network, you know, in that type of way. It's like this for me, like my streaming is like kind of more of like a business in a lot of senses. Like, I know a lot of people like want to do YouTube like streams and like make like a big YouTube channel and like get rich and famous off of that. I want to turn it into a career, but I know that so So there, it's like on YouTube, the way that you make money is through ads, right? Sorry if I'm gonna get a little business technical on you, if you don't mind us going down.
Yeah,
this
lay it
tangent.
on me. It's good.
Yeah. So for you and your followers, and for my followers as well, I just want to lay down some knowledge on you guys. But yeah. So the way that you make the way that you make money on YouTube is through ad revenue. And so basically what you have to do in order to make money through ad revenue is you have to have 1,000 followers on YouTube first. That's like the first requirement. And then you have to have 4,000 watch hours. And basically what people do when they sell ads is it's CPM, which is basically cost per 1,000. That people who buy ads pay for at the cost per 1,000. And it's usually like not as much as you would think. It's probably like $20 per 1,000 views. So that's like what they're paying for. Like when you get 1,000 subs on YouTube, you're really not making that much money. And so I like am like thinking like, well, so if the people who are buying the ad sections, you know, like there's like say Prime energy drinks, right? They pay like $200 for 5 CPMs. So that's 5,000 viewers watching, right?
Yeah.
They pay 200 and they make back, let's say, or actually let's make it easier numbers. Let's say they pay 500 and they make back 5,000. So that's 90% revenue that they make off of your channel, right?
Yeah.
But what if you were to sell the Prime instead? Like instead of taking the 500, what if you took the 5,000? You know what I mean? Like what if I were to create energy drinks and then, you know, like put them into you know, like I have the platform to sell at that rate, you know? I don't right now, but I could in the future. Is basically like the premise of that. But also like, you know, doing it on a platform where it's just like something fun, you know, that like my community is built off of something fun, and I want to keep it that way for as long as possible, you know?
Yeah, no, definitely. Community is something that really holds a lot of this, like the gaming community together. Like it's not the same if you don't have community, because like if you don't, then you kind of feel like you're just kind of doing your solo thing. And sure, you can, but I mean, when you have community, when you're streaming and stuff like that, it definitely makes you feel like you're doing the right thing and you're on the right path, because you're basically just doing yourself. You're just kind of being who you are. You're not trying to put on any kind of facade. You're just naturally being who you naturally are, and you're enjoying what you're doing. And when this is the thing about like manifestation and stuff too, is that like when you are on a certain vibration where you're like, you know, I'm feeling really good and people are feeling my stuff, and like, you know, I'm just being me, people are liking it, and you start to enjoy that. Well, people like to see people who are enjoying themselves. It's you know, people are gravitated towards those kind of people. And you know, when you start to bring that kind of good energy around you because you put it out, well, usually what you put out is what you come back. So manifestation, you know, when you put out the kind of good energy, right? And so a side note here, so one of the things that, you know, a very common thing that people say is good vibes only. And so I kind of took it upon myself, and I was trying to think of like, you know, my own like little saying or something like that, whatever, right? And I just couldn't think of anything until one day I was just I saw the words good vibes only, and I was thinking Green Rngr vibes only, and I was like, wait a second, why don't I just say green vibes only? And I'm like, you know what, I actually like that.
Yeah, green.
So like I wrote that one down. I had to write that down in case I don't remember it for later or something. So I was like, you know what, I think I'll go with that.
Yeah.
So basically what that is like, if there's some people that I've played with that can get a little aggressive when they play and stuff, and so, you know, some words can be shared. Right. And so that's kind of my thing, is like green vibes only. It's like, okay, guys, just, you know, I get where you're at, but you just got to tone it down a little bit for the live stream. After live, go ahead, scream your lungs off. But on the stream, try to be a little bit as reasonable and respectful as possible, because when you're I just recently have it so that people can hear my lobby and stuff, right? So I have to be a bit mindful when it comes to bringing certain people on and stuff. And it's not like a disrespectful thing. It's just like, I know that some people's energies are just a little bit much, and sometimes it just makes more sense if that's who they are, then that makes sense for them not to be part of it, because you don't want something bad to happen on your stream. Somebody might say some vulgar stuff, and someone might, I don't know, hit like report and stuff, and you can't go live, and you're like, I built all this for nothing and stuff. Yeah, Pink Ranger's in my live right now, and he says me LOL. Yeah, he knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Nice.
Yeah. But no, it's definitely helps to have a community. Even, I don't know, just like this stuff grows over time, right? And I think what your path is on, you and I both, I think, are on similar path, is that we realize that there's something here for us.
For sure. Yeah.
That there's something that we're growing and we're putting in the work. And I gotta say, like, big ups to you, man. I see you hitting like 500 subs over on YouTube. I'm like, damn, like that's a lot of grind, and that stuff doesn't come overnight. Like that takes some work, like especially if you're kind of pretty much doing a lot of this stuff on your own, and you're doing a lot of like we're doing a lot of the same stuff, so it's like it's really cool to see you be growing and hitting like the next milestones and stuff like that. So big ups on you.
Yeah, for sure. It's like it is nice to have people like at my side who are also doing the same thing. Like I said, Green Ranger and I talk all the time, like but like I've seen so many of the people who I've like started streaming with just like fall off, and it's tough because they will hit the milestones that they want to hit, but then they realize that it's not what they want to be. Like I had a friend who was doing really good on Twitch, and he's like, okay, it's so close to Twitch affiliate, like gets a Twitch affiliate, and then his first month of revenue comes in, and like I said, the ad revenue is for how many thousands of views you get, and he realized, and so he got like cents, and it discouraged him so badly that he didn't want to do it anymore. But he had like a community that was behind him. There was like people subbing, and he had like so many concurrent viewers, and he just got really discouraged. So it is easy to give up and not see the what the possibilities are with doing the streams. And so I'm glad to have Green Ranger by my side, and doing the same stuff, like someone who I could vent about what's going on and where things are failing and where things are working out, when things are good, and it's a grind. It is really a grind, for sure.
You could have said better myself. Yeah, absolutely. It's this kind of stuff is like, you have to be okay with the process of that. There's going to be ups and downs, and sometimes you might not like the downs. Sometimes the downs could be there's not many people on your stream, or you're maybe kind of you're just sitting there playing, and you're like, no one's talking, or no one's saying anything, or no one's hitting likes, or like whatever. And I'm not calling people out, but I'm just saying, like, that can be something people might look at and go like, oh, like that kind of bothers me a little bit. I don't want to do this because no one's liking my stuff, no one's watching my stuff. Like, honestly, it's part of the process, and you have to give up like that complaint, because it's part of the process. You can't expect that this path is all glamorous. It has a lot of ups on it, don't get me wrong. Like, doing this stuff, like, I could do this for hours on end, and I don't know, I get a lot of enjoyment out of it, and obviously people around me notice that stuff. And so, I mean, it takes a bit of time to get to this point, and even though I had no intent to get to here, it started becoming a thing. I think once I hit around 1,000, that's when I kind of started like looking into this path a bit more seriously.
Right.
Because I was like, okay, well, I can stream. That's kind of cool. And I started doing it. And the very first time I did it, I felt so awkward, and I didn't know what to say. It felt so weird. But at the same time, like, my personal life, I used to be in acting for TV and film and stuff. So I've been in like commercials, and I've been in print ads and stuff like that. So, being in front of a camera was never an issue for me. Even in high school, I did drama class and stuff. Like, I've never been afraid of being creative, especially in front of a camera. That was never ever a thing for me. So I mean, doing live streams, I've never done that before. So like that, as much as me being used to being on a camera, doing live streams, playing games, it was a different experience. All I used was my phone, and I faced it toward my TV, and I was playing on the Nintendo Switch at the time.
Yeah. That sometimes
Yeah,
you just gotta do, literally you just gotta do what, you just gotta go live. Sometimes that's the bottom line, is you just have to go live and try and create content. You know, that's how, and something cool might happen, you know? You know, like, especially, and also with like posting and stuff too, like you just gotta post. If you're wanting to do like the content creation stuff, you have to be posting like actively. Like there's a chance that you go viral off of, like, you can't just like sit there and like be like, okay, my viral idea is gonna come to me. Like it's gonna, one day I'm just gonna have a viral idea, I'm gonna post it, and it's gonna go viral. No, that's not, you have to be posting like consistently over a period of time, and eventually maybe something will like get picked up, you know? And it's completely, sometimes it's completely random, like what goes viral. Like Green said, like he didn't expect to go viral on TikTok or anything like that. Like I had some stuff on Instagram that I really didn't expect to do anything with, and I had a separate meme channel actually that went viral, and I think it had like 5 million views on Instagram and picked up like 700 followers on Instagram on a channel that wasn't even related to my stream. So it's super random, and I know that it's just like chasing the viral like dream is it's not something that you're gonna catch easily. Like it'll come to you, kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
And that comes with just volume of posting.
Yeah, of course. I think like what you're touching on is like something that people expect too much, like common myths about being a content creator, streamer. Like I said, it's you know, not all glamorous. You know, you do have the downsides of things, but this is it's all part of everything. Like there's a lot of good, but there's some that's not also good, and you know, it's some of the stuff that's you don't might not like about it. It's part of the process. So when you get used to that, you're like, okay, like it happens. Some of these things might not go the way I want them to. You put a post up and you're like, why is there only like 102 views on there? Like there should be more by now. It's like, you know what I mean? And then like, you have to kind of let some of that stuff go, because it's not, you just have to keep going at it. That's literally like one of the things that I always did before I started streaming was I would used to go on to other people's streams and then just try to be a bit more regular on their streams, and then go off to other ones, right? And I just kind of look to see how they're doing it. What are they saying? What are they doing? How does their setup look like? And what kinds of things do people like? What are they, you know, I try to like take notes essentially before doing my live streams. And you know, I try to gather as much information as I possibly could with whatever I could. And I mean, you know, obviously it seems like some of that stuff has served and paid off.
Yeah, definitely.
And another thing I used to do when I go on the streams, I would go to ask them, hey, you know, what are some tips you guys can give on streaming, whatever, and just keep asking that same kind of question amongst everybody, so that I know that off of that question, I have a lot of answers, so that I can kind of figure out, okay, what is the best practices to do, and then hear from people who have a large following. And sometimes you put a comment in there and someone who's got like, you know, 400, 500 people on their live, and you're like, oh, well, there goes my comment. Like, you know, so like, there's some people who do read, which is nice, but yeah, I try to go for people who do usually read their comments, that have a bit bigger of a following, but still enough to read, you know, through most of the comments and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, that's a great place to go to, is to just go to maybe some streamers that you admire and just watch and see how they interact with their like fans, and like what they're doing right, and maybe what they're doing wrong as well. But yeah, I definitely did that. I definitely did that. I did a lot. I still do a lot of that actually. I'll go to like smaller streams and comment on their lives and hang out with them for a while if I'm just like cooking dinner or something, you know, like that. And I'll just find like a small page that's doing something like similar. If I see like their like shorts are really well edited and stuff, and they don't have like a big following, you know, I know a lot of people who are doing the same things, and it's good to surround yourself with those kinds of people. Like you said, just to keep you motivated and keep you going, you know?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, definitely agree with you on that one. Definitely good to have networks and stuff like that too. I think networking is something it applies to every field, honestly.
It
And
is. It does. Yeah.
um, you know what I mean? And part of networking is building community, but it's also connecting to other people that are at least maybe on the similar level, same path on you, kind
Mm-hmm.
of that sort of
Mm-hmm.
thing, right? So that way, and it's kind of in a way, it's like when smaller streamers kind of grow together. I notice a lot of times, a lot of these bigger streamers, you know, I try to take as much notes as possible. And I notice that like a lot of these bigger streamers, they usually know each other and they kind of have like, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know, their own community of people where they all just kind of are all friends in sort of a way. And I thought, you know, like, why don't smaller streamers do that? Like, you know, it makes more sense. Like,
Yeah.
if that's what people are doing up top, and then everybody's like, yeah, well, like, check them out. It's like, you know, them all for, you know, be like, you know, they all know each other kind of thing. So like,
Right.
I think that's kind of where I'm at with trying to grow stuff on my channel and all that stuff. And it's, I don't know, I think about my channel a lot and just like in terms of growing, like I know there's all these different like tips and strips and stuff like that. I like try to grow as natural as possible and I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
just to kind of see where it takes me sort of
Right.
thing. Right.
Right.
And hitting 3K last week, it was just like, holy cow, like this
Yeah.
is taking something and it's actually, you know, it's obviously showing the work that I'm putting in. And I've had so many comments that have been like, I don't know, really making me feel good about what I'm doing, sort of thing. Even though all I'm
Yeah.
doing is just posting a game, but you know, I had one time probably the most, I would say maybe emotional message that I had. Somebody had messaged me one time, and they're like, "I don't know if you're ever going to read this or not, but I just want to let you know that I've got cancer, and watching your videos helped me forget about the pain."
Wow. Wow. That's a really, really insane comment to have on your channel, dude. It's like, it's really special to have something like that be in your, like, you know, that you created and you made someone feel that way. You know, it's
Literally.
moments like that that make it like all worth it, you know?
Hmm. I didn't really know how to respond to it, but other than just like, you know, saying thank you. And I remember I was like on my way to work and it kind of made, you know, tear me up a little bit. And I was like, holy cow, like this
For
is
sure.
something real. Like,
For
you know,
sure.
it's more than just me, you know, posting it for fun. Like it actually, you know, does brighten somebody's day. And I get a lot of messages, people like, yo, I really like the video you posted the other day. And I'm like, I just have fun with it. And this is one thing that I've said recently is that I really like about having my channel is that I've known myself to be more like a very creative person.
Mm-hmm.
And in a way, it allows me to express my most craziest forms of creativity sort of thing. And it's, you know, it's like your space to kind of creatively put together something, you know, just based off of something, whatever you think of. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, even literally doing this podcast is like, you know, just another idea to me, just like, you know, let's just see what happens kind of sort of
Yeah.
thing. And it seems to like to be taken off. And I'm like, this is kind of crazy because all of this month I have, because I'm doing it every Friday and I
Mm-hmm.
had every spot booked, I think by like the first week in.
Mm-hmm.
And this all like it started, I kind of had the idea toward the end of last month because what I like to do every month, and like I always want to do something new on my channel every month. That
Mm-hmm.
just started being my thing in the last couple months. Like
Right.
I held a contest, the one, and then at the then last month I had the Ranger contest for the last 2 weeks, and then I was like, well, what do I want to do for next month? Like I have no idea. And then so we were just messing around one day on creative, and then somebody said something about, oh, imagine there was like a podcast or something, or I don't know, like it just came up in random conversation,
Yeah.
and I was like, yeah, well, like let's try to build something, and then I just kind of like just put something random together, and obviously, you know, this is what it is, and it's like obviously I like now I'm like at the point I'm like this is crazy, like you know this could be a lot of good content too, right?
For sure.
And you know the reason that I wanted to put this podcast together is because I know there's a lot of people who are part of, you know, certain followings of, you know, yours in mind that would probably like to know how to do certain things and, you know, what to look for when it comes to this path. You know, they
Yeah.
some of them are not maybe old enough to have a stream because, you know, whatever, and they want to eventually do it. And it's like, okay, well, here's
Yeah.
some you know, pros, some tips, some things as to like what to do, what not to
Yeah.
do, you know, how to get to where you got to go faster, sort of thing. And you
Mm-hmm.
know, a lot of this stuff does take time, and it, you know, takes with having to keep on consistently posting. So
Yeah.
you
It
know,
takes time and it takes sacrifice. Like you're gonna sacrifice like I could like be having like a second job at this point, like instead of doing the streams, that like that's how much time that I'm putting into it. It's just like it's just like sacrificing a lot of time, but it is very, very fun. It's just like the path that it could lead to is just like so exciting, it.
Yeah.
And moments like you were saying, like when people reach out and they say that your content has like impact them in a certain way, that it's just you can't you wouldn't trade it,
Yeah, and it just like stuff like that, and certain like comments were like that are positive comments and stuff like that. It's like it just really makes you feel good about it, because you're just like, what, I'm having fun and people are liking the fun that I'm riding, and it's same for you, kind of sort of thing, right? People are enjoying your vibe, and it's like it makes you want to keep doing, because you're like, in a way it kind of feels rewarding.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. So I guess there's some other things too, for like personal things for yourself. What would be 3 things you'd want to improve as a streamer?
3 things I'd want to improve as a streamer, mainly my my gameplay. I feel like that's like often like where I feel like I'm always like trying to get better, but I do have to like work on the weekends, and when I come back from like a weekend of like working where I can't be gaming or streaming, I feel like my mechanics have like deteriorated, and I'm like, I think maybe it's just like a confidence thing, like maybe just having I know I have the skills to like win a lot of games, but I don't, and then I get like a little bit like trying to not show like that having bad games gets to me. On occasion it does. So but yeah, another thing is like I am getting close to like a membership level on YouTube, and I just really want to make sure that anyone who's like wants to become a member like feels like they're getting their like value out of the membership that that I would be providing, whether it be like like emotes, stickers, or like prize packages, or like like a raffle or something along those lines that everyone's entered into, and putting together like I'm a crafty person too, so like I'd probably like put together like a little gift box or something like that, something along those lines, and just making sure that everyone feels like they're a part of a community when they come to my channel. And if they become a member, then it's like a step up, and that it's like worth it for them to do that. And then
I usually do like contests and stuff on mine too, and it seems to be like I don't know, I just kind of get random ideas for contests, and then people are usually down for that because people like to win things. So
yeah, and I just want to do more of that too when the time is right, but yeah, just making sure that everyone feels like a community, growing out my Discord channel, and learning the ins and outs of that. I had someone say that my Discord is effed up, and so I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, I don't know how to use it, so I'm learning as I go, and learning like same thing with TikTok. I need to learn how to reach that audience. Dude, one thing that I want to say though is that it's so messed up that you don't have your creator code yet. I think it's,
oh my gosh,
I think it's wrong. Like it angers me when I think about it.
I'm so mad, man. I was thinking one day, I'm like, I've got 3,000. What if I individually message every single one of them, like, yo, sub to me on YouTube, sub to me on YouTube? I
you
probably could maybe do something with that. I don't know.
You might lose some of your 3,000, but you might gain enough, hopefully, to. I don't know, but it's just messed up that
literally it feels empty for me too. Like
for those that like don't know, so you have to have 1,000 followers to get a creator code on Fortnite, and Green Ranger has 3,000, but Fortnite doesn't recognize those 3,000 followers as
because of TikTok,
because it's on TikTok. So I'm guessing they don't put like the weight of it, like they don't like like the way that they weigh their viewership on TikTok. Maybe it's because they have like analytics that's like says that TikTok viewers only spend like so much amount of time like looking at an actual like thing, you know?
Yeah.
I think that was like the only way that I was able to like somewhat justify it, but it's literally not even justifiable. It should, you should already have your creator code. And if you're not following Green Ranger on YouTube, go follow him on YouTube and help him out, like get his creator code, because he is unfortunately, stunted.
Yeah.
Wrongfully. We gotta write a letter, right? To Fortnite.
Literally, like, yo, listen, I've got 3 times the amount you need on TikTok.
Yeah, seriously.
Give me something.
Seriously.
Even if it's just a trial, I don't know, something. Man, the when I do though, like I'm gonna be doing big map type of games and stuff like that. I'll be doing either like content related, or it'll be like match kind of related sort of thing. So we can have that many people. I'll just do a live stream where a bunch of people can jump on and stuff like that. Because I've seen people play that too, but it's just better when you have your own, because then you can do it whenever you kind of want to schedule it, right? So yeah, man, once I get a creator code, I'm definitely gonna be doing a lot more like big match type of games and stuff like that. And yeah, I can't wait, man. I wish I knew that they didn't accept TikTok like early on, but then it's like, you figure this stuff out as you go, right? I didn't know that they weren't, because I thought for sure, I'm like, okay, I've got 1,000, sure, like I can do that. And then when I saw that, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. And I'm like, well, good thing at least I did start the YouTube a bit. So I think I'm just under 100. I'm at like 95 last I checked. So I got a long ways to go, but at least I'm like 10% down.
Yeah, it's that's good. It'll come quickly, especially with your TikTok fan base like growing and everything, and you just gotta keep plugging it, to be honest. Like when you're streaming, I'm always like being like, hey, if you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And we're at this number, we need to be here. Every game, every middle of the game, every end game, for like top 5 situation, please subscribe.
Right. What I've been doing lately is for people who are they're new onto my channel, that are jumping onto my TikTok for the first time, whatever, right, on my live stream, they're like, oh, can I play? And I'll be like, okay, so follow me for sure on TikTok.
Yeah,
and
then,
I do that too. You can send your request in, right? And then I'll like, okay, you can jump in my lobby once you sub to me on YouTube. And then once you're done, just say done, sort of thing. And I'll look at the numbers, see if it went up. I'm like, okay, perfect. Okay, so I'm like, all right, let's win. So like that's been working for like a little tip or trick, I guess, to kind of try to grow on your things. Like, if you're starting to grow as a streamer and you're starting to have a bit of traction and you're having people come in on a regular basis, you're starting to grow a bit of community, then you use something like that. Be like, for people who are new that are wanting to jump in, be like, hey, I'll do it. This is mostly for people who are trying to grow their channels intentionally.
Yeah,
if you don't really care for it,
you gotta bribe them.
Yeah, right. Like, all right, you gotta scratch my back, I'll scratch your back. You can play some games with me. We'll win something. So
make sure you're subscribed first, and then I'll add you. Yeah, basically.
Oh yeah, like. That's what I mean. Like I started watching other people's lives to see what they do, and I started taking notes and stuff like that. So I mean, there was people who used to do that just with their own TikTok. I'm like, okay, might as well do that. Like, don't just have anybody who say come in. So then it's like, at least make it a benefit for you as well too, right? So it's like that way you're both getting a benefit out of it.
Yeah, definitely. It's that's definitely the right way to go. It's like nobody loses in that situation. Like they get to play, and you get the the follow, and probably they were probably going to follow anyway, but like making an impression like that, playing it, like taking the time to play a game with like a follower is really like, it'll make an impression, and they'll keep coming back as well.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I see you playing with your community like pretty much like all the time. I've played in your like scrim matches, or whatever you call it, the like big game lobbies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's fun. And your community is super engaging too.
Yeah, which is what keeps me doing this and stuff too. And I think a lot of it has to do with personality as well. It's I'm not saying if you don't have a good personality, it's not going to work, but I mean, likely that's the case. But I mean, it takes a bit of being mindful about the energy that you put out as well too, right? if you're not aware of the energy you put out and you think that people are just going to hopefully like you, it's like you got to be aware of certain things too, right? Like you don't have to care what people think, but it does help in certain cases to help to care.
Yeah, to care about the vibe of the entire group, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Especially if you're trying to do something long term, right? Because if you start acting a fool, it's like people are like, oh, I don't want to be around you. Like you're a toxic person. Like get away from me. I'm not gonna do any like, and you're not gonna you're gonna have a hard time trying to grow. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it definitely helps to have a decent, good personality. Just practice being around other people that have a good personality, and they'll rub off on you, sort of thing, right?
Yeah. It's like you said, like you're talking about like giving off like positive energy and stuff like that. I think it's like giving off a positive like attitude. Like you are gonna be giving back what you put out. Like I've seen there's like some big name streamers who are like their whole personality is like raging and breaking keyboards and like getting angry. And those people like I can't remember who that big Fortnite streamer was. He used to play with like Hamlin's. Help me out, chat, if you remember. Deller. Yeah, he was a big streamer on Fortnite, and he used to like rage and break keyboards and get angry, and he ended up like getting doxxed. Like people like he was bringing in like very, very negative vibes into his channel, and they like swatted him like a bunch of times, and he ended up like giving up streaming. And it's just like, dude, wow, you really need to like be putting out positive stuff to get positive stuff back, because when you get to like a certain level, like that, you don't want that to be your personality,
yeah,
like it's just setting up for something bad to happen, basically. But sorry, not to get too dark on you.
No, definitely no, for sure. Like it's important to talk about that stuff, because personality will take you places.
Yeah, whether that's good or bad as well.
Oh, 100%, right? I always say this, like this is one of my favorite analogies, is that a gun on the table is not good. A gun on the table is not bad. It's what you do with it that makes the difference. So, I mean, personality is a choice. The decisions you make every day are a bit of a choice. Your reactions are a choice, right? And so when you're aware of what you're choosing, you start to become a bit more aware of those things, then you kind of start to shift a bit of things too, right? Because if you're not aware of it, you're just going to keep doing the same thing, right? But, sometimes it might take somebody around you to say, hey, listen, sometimes you can be a bit like this, and you might get defensive, but then if you got to take a step back and you're like, okay, wait, maybe they're right, maybe I am, and like it takes trying to practice being a decent human being. It's not, some of this doesn't come natural to some people. There are people out there who naturally just don't have it in them to be a decent human being, and and it's unfortunate, obviously, but if you have the capability, then practice it, and you'll be rewarded for it more than you can ever imagine.
Yeah, I know. I think about people who are like, oh, I could never be a streamer, I'll get canceled. I'm like, what are you saying? Like, I'm like, what are you guys doing when you're gaming? Like, you just become the worst person in the world? Like, what happens?
Literally.
So like, I've had so many people say that to me, and I just like look at them like, you just gotta be normal.
Right?
Just be a normal person, and you'll be fine.
What would you say are like your top 3 favorite things about being a streamer?
Top 3 is like definitely like being able to game and not feeling like that I'm wasting time is one of the biggest things for me personally, is like just playing guilt-free, basically. And I just I don't feel like I'm like ignoring responsibilities or anything like that. Like also another big thing is like how many new people I get to meet, like who hop into the chat and they just come and they say hi, and sometimes they neg or say something dumb and I get to clap back at them, and that's always fun too, and just goldfish memory either way. But yeah, that's 2. And then just keeping my like editing and streaming skills like sharp, like professional skills. Those are like keeping everything like sharp and you know, like being like, if somebody in the professional world were to be like, oh well, when's your last stream, and I was like, literally this afternoon. You know, like I streamed this afternoon and kept my skills sharp, and I had to troubleshoot, and I had to, you know, fix this this thing or whatever. Actually, just before, I have been having this problem with my camera where it keeps like shutting off, and I literally like 2 minutes before we got on, I'm like scrambling to like fix my camera and make sure that we have my face on my stream over here and on my recording too. So yeah.
Talking about the face on stream, actually. So when you first started streaming, did you used to stream with your face when you first started?
Yeah, I did right off the bat, and I just kind of like didn't want to make it a big deal that I was like not on camera, and I figured eventually that I would be on camera, so why not just like, I'm kind of like a jump in the deep end of the pool type of person anyway. So that's kind of like, I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna make my stream setup like look as professional as possible. Like I'm gonna look like I've been here, you know, like I can put on like a nice broadcast stream with like transitions and stuff, so why not try and do as much as I can off the rip, you know? So even when I had like 0 followers, it was still like a high quality stream broadcast that I was trying to put on, you know? So so that's just me personally, but I know that a lot of people recommend to do off camera first, which I think is smart and good. It's really easy to start like on an Xbox and just stream off of the Twitch app, you know, without a camera. So if you my recommendation is just to go live, basically, whatever that means. If it's just you, if it's just your gameplay and your voice, that's enough in my opinion. How about yourself? What I know that there was a when I first started watching you, there was no camera.
Yeah. Did I have like some sort of setup where like it was like different stuff on the screen?
Yeah, so I think it was like your gameplay was at the very center of the TikTok, and then you had like your logo at the top.
Oh,
and then I think you had some like widgets at the bottom.
Yes. So actually talking about that, I'll talk about the thing I'll answer both. But so the logo that I did for that, I was trying to think of something when I first started getting a bit more serious and I started getting a bit bigger of a following. I think once I started hitting 2K, I'm like, holy cow, like this is kind of taking off somewhere. Like maybe I should keep doing this sort of thing. And I'm starting to like it a bit more. So I started thinking about, you know, the professional look of a streamer. And I'm like, you know, what does that look like? And I'm like, okay, I look at these people and that have all these big followings. Like, what are they doing that I might not be doing? What can I be? You know, you got to stand on giants and learn from them too. You know what I mean? And so, you know, take as many notes as possible. And then I was like, okay, I definitely got to need, you know, this. I would list different things, right? So I needed a logo, and I didn't have any logo. I'm like, I don't know what to do for that. I'm like, maybe I can just make something up. And so the logo itself is actually when the Power Rangers morphed, they had like they would be in the center of this little figure of some sort.
Yeah.
It would just and the figure itself is like their belt, essentially.
The Power Morpher.
The Power Morpher, exactly. And so I started looking up like, well, how can I do with this? And so all the letters that are in at the top where it says Power and then the bottom says Rangers, I started like editing it so that I moved the letters around. So it would say green at the top and then RNGR at the bottom.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you know, that's kind of cool. Like, I just kind of made this up. Like, I know it's not quite like my own personal logo per se, because it's, you know, obviously imitation of that. And I'm like, at least I'll have something, you know what I mean? Like, this is what I mean. Like when it comes to starting this stuff off, right? To kind of also answer your other question is that when I first started out, obviously there was no camera. I streamed off of my phone, filming my TV of me playing. And so, you know, to tie these two together, humble beginnings, you know, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah,
right?
for
And
sure.
don't expect that you're gonna have a lot of this stuff happen really fast. It's your humble beginnings. You're always gonna have barely anybody up on your lives. You might not have
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
anybody at all for a bit. You might be zero for a while. And sometimes like that's all part of the process. Like it's
And
not
that's
all
yeah,
gonna
that's
just be that.
completely okay to have zero people in your life. Like
Yeah.
it's not a problem. Like also you should probably be like doing like little clips and shorts like Green was saying, like even if you're not streaming at the moment, save your clips. Save your clips and then maybe make like a little Instagram or YouTube account where you just post the clips not live. You don't have to exactly like stream right away as well. But then once you do start streaming, definitely be like fishing for clips.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. But
Do you have any people that are like your favorite streamers to watch? Like a few?
I would say that like, well, Ninja was a big inspiration to me. Mostly not because of his gameplay alone, but also because of his business journey and like where he's at like now. Is like also like a big like inspiration. I've been watching him for a long time. He gets toxic though, but the person that I've been watching like the most lately, he's prospering on YouTube, or he's on everything actually. He's a zero build player that he just queues up squads and he does a no fill and he will wipe out the entire lobby basically. He's like one
Yeah.
of the best like zero build Fortnite players. It's literally insane to watch. But he like hit his like stride recently when he like went away from competitive play. So I guess he used to be like this really big like competitive. He had like the most like tournament wins, and he wasn't like growing his channel. Like his channel like was like stagnant even with him like continuing to win big tournaments and making lots of money. And so he's like, how do I like get the audience to like realize that that I'm like worth watching? And so he started basically just like doing public matches and just wiping out entire lobbies, like showing off his like skills in like a casual setting. And that's like basically been working for him lately. So I just like watching the growth that's happening on his channel and just like throwing him on. He comes on like around breakfast time, so it's like perfect for me like to watch before I get on a stream or something like that. Like just the time that he and also his like interaction with like toxic people is like really funny as well.
Yeah. And he's like the most chill dude too.
He's so chill. Yeah, he's really chill. How about yourself? What
Yeah, I like him. One of the people I like is Bush Season.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the other day his iconic skin that he always wears is when the item shop, and I thought about getting it. I'm like, I don't know, maybe. Like before, I remember seeing it, and I was like, well, maybe I don't know, but I don't know. I don't watch anime, so I don't know. So
Mm-hmm.
the other day, I was like, you know what? I was watching a stream, and I was like, yo, I commented in there, and this guy averagely has about 400 to 500, sometimes 600 people in his thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, to get a message in sometimes can be like rare, but he
Yeah.
does actually make the effort to read through messages and stuff. And I've
Mm-hmm.
commented on his stuff multiple times here and there, and he's actually commented back. So I'm like, okay, like obviously he's reading through and stuff. So when I messaged the other day on his live saying, hey, your skin is in the M shop, he's like, oh yeah, I saw that. And I'm like, oh wow, he actually responded to it.
Right.
And then I was like, you know what, I might as well get it. Like I don't know anything about this character, but you know what, I might as well get it. And I thought, I've never used a creator code before, or a
Mm-hmm.
person's whatever creator code. And I was like, you know what, might as well make his. And so I might as well
Right.
make a video out of this or something, and I'll tag him in it. And then he's got like hundred thousands of some followers. I don't know how much, but
Uh-huh.
he's got a pretty big list going. I think like 300,000 or something. I don't know, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he's so I posted it the other day, and and then he actually commented on there saying like hell yeah, and I was like, oh shoot, and
That's
he actually
awesome.
liked it and stuff too, and I'm like, that's crazy.
That's really cool. Yeah, stuff like
So
that. When
yeah,
the streamers are like down to like say what's up and everything, and give you some words of encouragement, or just acknowledge your presence in their stream. It means a lot sometimes when people are bigger and you're trying to get to where they are as well.
Oh, 100%, 100%. There was one live he had on where he was doing, I guess, a creative map, and he needed to get a clip for his one of his thumbnails, and so he's like, whoever's on right now can jump on. I need help with something. So I was like going to get ready for bed, and I just happened to see that, and I was like middle of getting ready, and I was like, actually, you know what? Hold up, I'm pulling Fortnite out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you helped him get his thumbnail?
Yeah, and so I was at one point where he's trying to like get a group of everybody together, and he throws a boogie bomb on them, and then it missed me and a couple other people. So I started jumping in the air to signal that it didn't work because you can't hear him in audio, whatever, right? So I'm trying to jump in the air to signal, and then I hear him on his thing. He's like, "Yo, who's the guy in the green? He's grieving right now." I'm like, "No, no, 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 man! I can't talk. I'm not trying to grieve. I'm trying to say like it didn't hit me." But then he did it again anyways, and then so yeah, I commented in there, and then he at some point like later on, and he's like, "Oh yeah, all good, all good, all good." I'm like, all right, so no bad blood, no bad blood.
That's funny, dude. I never thought about. I always like try and get like thumbnails like that, like in-game stuff, and I never thought about like just asking my viewers to help me with a with a thumbnail. That's like a really good idea. Gonna do some more of that for sure.
And it gets everybody who's in there a bit of exposure too, especially if you're growing and your channel's getting a bit more bigger and known stuff, right? And people like to be a part of people who are succeeding.
Right. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Definitely.
And I mean, having hit like 3,000, and I'm like, you know, the sky's the limit at this point. It's like, you know, that this is just another milestone on the quest.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. It all really is. Do you have goals outside of Fortnite, or is Fortnite like gonna be the game that you stick with, or like what is your journey like looking at in the future?
Yeah, it's just gonna be Fortnite, because I've had other people like, you know, yo, you should download COD, and I'm like, oh, I tried, but there's not enough room or whatever, but just to like play with them. But even any friend who's been like, oh, you gotta try this game out, I'm like, oh man, I only have time for one game at a time. Like I used to play Mortal Kombat, Super Smash Bros, and then Zelda kind of closely around the same time, and then I started playing the newer Zelda, not Breath of the Wild, but Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
I was in between Fortnite and that at the same time, and I liked both games, and I was like, oh man, this is so hard. I want to play one, but I want to play the other. And then, but then I just started playing Fortnite more because I was talking with my friend, kind of like we're hanging out sort of thing. And so that kind of became more of the path to take. And so the only other game that I don't play, or that I play, offline, is Clash of Clans.
Oh, nice.
I still have that. I still have it.
Nice. That's cool.
But yeah, I always just like log on daily just to collect my stuff and kind of go off with everything. But,
daily tasks.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, exactly.
That's good.
For what? I don't know, but
that's pretty good.
Yeah, no other games and stuff. No, I haven't really played anything else other than this. I don't know. I just enjoy this mostly, and because it's like you're hanging out with other people as well too on here.
Yeah.
Like almost every time that I get online, I'm always getting like requested within seconds, being like, "Oh."
The community is like really engaging in Fortnite. Like the people who want to watch it live, the people who like want to watch like streamers live. There's just so many of them. You know, like I was gifted Helldivers from one of my from one of the people in my community. They bought the game for me, and they're like, hey, you should play this. Like, I think it's gonna pop off. I think it's gonna be like a big game that you could play on stream. And I was like, oh, thank you. Like, I'll definitely play it. And so I played it for like a couple of like a month or two. It was like 2 months that I played Helldivers and like was swapping back between Fortnite and Helldivers. And I noticed that like the community was like super engaging with like the offline content, the memes and stuff, but when you go live and play certain games, they are not as into it and as engaging. Like they know, like people didn't want to watch Helldivers be played live, which I thought was really interesting and like weird. Honestly, like I wasn't expecting that, you know. Like there's certain communities where it works better, for sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you now with YouTube? I don't know how it works that much, but like, do you ever get? Can you get paid gifts and stuff like that on your lives?
So yeah. So I have a donation button on my channel, and it's in the description if you guys want to take a look at it. But so I have a donation that's through Stream Elements. a donation button, and I kind of like kept it hidden for like a while, but then somebody came recently and was like, hey, I want to like donate to your stream, like I see what you're doing and you're doing good stuff, and give me your donation button basically. And I'm like, are you sure you want it? He's like, yeah. So I send it to him, set it up like pretty early on, but when the memberships come in, that's why the 500 mark is like so important to my channel, is because memberships and super chats get unlocked at that time.
Oh.
So 500 subscribers, and then also 3,000 watch hours, which we're behind on by a lot. So I need to upload like regular content, YouTube videos, because the vertical live that I do, it doesn't count towards watch hours, which sucks because I probably have a lot of watch hours on vertical live. So, but you know, it just is what it is. I gotta sacrifice either like exposure, getting new people into my stream, or you know, getting less people and getting the watch hours. And you know, so I'm just kind of, I gotta choose one or the other. It's like either grow faster or grow at a really slow pace, but get the harder task done, you know? So I'm just kind of piecing it up like in a consumable way, kind of. Basically, I don't know if that makes any sense.
Fair enough. What's like one thing that took you a long time to figure out when it comes to streaming?
It's one thing that took me a long time to figure out.
That way we can collapse the time frame of somebody else that's listening to, you know, shorten their learn time for it.
I don't know if it took me a long time to figure it out, but people really enjoy the vertical like setup, like your setup, you know, like where they could hold their phone and watch you like in their hand, you know? And they also like it on the computer too, where they can like they could dedicate only like a third of their screen to your like stream, and then they could use the rest of their screen for whatever multitasking they're doing, like work or whatever. And it just makes people's lives easier when the vertical is like the format. I just noticed that people really like that for some reason. So I just been rolling with that.
Yeah, that's definitely is a game changer, because if it's not in the same position, I've seen people where their lives, they can turn their phone and it plays it sideways, is another thing too.
Yeah, I actually I downloaded TikTok
Yeah.
Studio, and you could set it up that way, like on the desktop app, where if you stream from like your computer, you can set up like the vertical setup, and then you could also set up like the horizontal setup, and when people turn they'll see like the full screen, which is pretty cool on TikTok, but you can't like cross post from TikTok to YouTube without like having a separate like connection to the internet, basically. So that's why people use like a double stream computer. And that's a big part of it, but yeah.
As a streamer, what's something or a few things that you're most known for?
I'm probably most known for my memes. I'm a meme lord.
Memes.
I'm a meme lord.
Meme lord.
Yeah, for sure. Making memes is a talent of mine. People seem to really enjoy those like a lot, and I think I'm just good with like quips and like you know, like just for being funny on the stream, and you know, just that's probably the two things I'm like most known for.
I gotta have those memes, man, that make give people that. There's one person that I watch that's I got her into streaming, and this is when we're talking about impact. So recently she passed, I think, the 1,000 mark on TikTok.
Nice.
And so I was like, yo, you should do streaming. And she's like, I don't know, maybe we'll see. I'm like, you gotta just try it. Just try it. And then she's like, okay, maybe, I don't know. We'll see. And I'm like, well, how about this? So, you know, if you try it once, if you don't like it, never do it again, sort of thing. And then that's it. And I'm like, based off of the content you post, she posts pretty funny content. She makes it feel like she plays Fortnite, but her kind of content, it almost feels like Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Like that's the vibe her content brings. And then I actually like enjoy it and stuff. So I'm like, you know, I think you probably would be good when it comes to streaming based off your content. Like, you know, you obviously, your personality comes through your content.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
Or, you know what I mean? So, I mean, if obviously, you know, when you post memes, it's like, you got a bit of a funny personality, you think of funny things sort of thing. Right. So like, exactly. And so like your personality comes through, and I said to her, I'm like, you know what, you should just try, because I think you have a good personality that would go, it would come out great with it and stuff. And so she's like, okay, well maybe. I'm like, well, here, let's set a date. I'm like, it's only gonna happen unless you set a date. And so then she had gotten back, and she actually did set a date, because I'm in the same Discord group that she's in, and she actually put a thing down in the group, and people are like, oh my God, what, she's actually going live? And she's been friends with these people for a lot longer than I have, and they're like, what, she's going live? And I'm like, wow, like I actually, you know, got her inspired enough to take the step.
That's awesome.
Right. And so, yeah, she did her first live, and I told her, I'm like, make sure you tell me when it is, because I want to make sure I'm there. Because, you know, like, and she obviously like was like, you know, obviously you helped me, you know, push me towards it and stuff. And so on her stream, I was on it. I almost forgot it too. And I set a timer and everything. And then I was doing something, and instantly I'm like, oh shoot. So I immediately stopped what I was doing, and I went onto her live. And then, I think there's that like 10K or something like that.
You'll have to share that one with me. You'll have to share that that channel with me. I got to see that. But yeah, one of the things that I've like said before is, I'm like, come for the memes, stay for the streams, guys. Because like a lot of my memes were getting a lot more attention than the streams. But I'm like, come on, I'm also streaming.
Yeah.
But
man. Yeah. So yeah, she actually, I think I actually was like super like was in the talkative in her chat and stuff, and there was, I think, maybe like 6 or 7 or 8 people in there, and then I gave her a bunch of gifts and whatnot, and there was a bit of a competition going on with gifting her too, so it was kind of nice. And then I kept saying, like, yo, chat, before her game ends, let's try to get her to the next 5K likes or something. And then and then I was watching her stream for a bit, and then I think before I'd gotten off, I think she was at like 25K likes or something like that. So it was like for her first stream ever, right? And she comments in there a bunch of times too. And then she was like, man, I feel so like, I'm like crying happy tears right now. Like this, I'm so like touched by all this, like, you know, like, like so crazy. And so she like gave me a huge thank you and stuff like that too. And so like, you know, like when we talk about impact, it's like, you know, like obviously if you see something in somebody else, you know, say something a bit about it. It's like, if you see potential in somebody, you know, maybe they might not be aware of their potential. So maybe it might just be saying, hey, like, I think you got potential for something, you know, like, like this is kind of, you know, like the one thing I said to the last episode was that in community isn't always just the people that are around you, but it's also yourself as well.
Right. Yeah.
And so like you are the community at the same time as the people around you are your community. You're a part of it. And so the kind of similar what we were talking about earlier is that the energy you put out is kind of, you know, what you get back in. So, you know, if you're putting that energy out into your community, well, that usually comes back in. And so that makes you be part of community. You're part of the energy that's being put out there, you know, so you're part of community in that aspect as well.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, man. I think we wrapped up, and we can wrap up from here. And
that sounds like a good plan. I appreciate you having me on the podcast, man. It's been fun and really insightful, and nice to get to sit down and talk with you like on a full-on conversation with you.
Yeah, man, definitely. It's been a really cool experience, because this is like a first of its kind, and you got to be the second person to be a part of it. So big ups to you, man.
I'm really happy to have been invited, and doing podcast is you know, it's a lot of fun. So if anybody is like, maybe I shouldn't go on Green Rngr's podcast, no, do it.
Yeah, man.
If you're invited, do
it. Exactly. Yeah, man.
I appreciate it, man. It's been a good time.
Yeah, my recent thing was I wanted to start collaborating with other streamers and stuff like that, and I didn't know how I was going to do it. All I knew is that I wanted to do it, and so I kind of figured out that this would be the route to that, is collaborating just in a form of a conversation that'll be
Mm-hmm.
beneficial
Mm-hmm.
to people and also beneficial for us because we have content, because we're speaking on what it's like to be a streamer, and maybe some of the things to look out for and what to do, and to help other people who are aspiring content creators, aspiring streamers that want to get into it, who have never done it before, who might be thinking about it and it might be shy, it might be a little big for them to take on. They don't know where to go or what to do next and stuff like that. And so
Mm-hmm.
I figured that I've gotten to a point where 3,000 followers. I obviously I'm not like a crazy big number,
Yeah.
but I mean, for what I've done, I haven't done this for a whole year yet, and I'm already at 3,000.
Right.
It's like I obviously have something to speak on when it comes to
Yeah.
growing as a content creator. I've obviously,
For sure.
it's part of tracking your journey as you're going, and journaling it, and kind of also making it content as well, because as you're tracking your journey, other people aren't there at your point. There are people who are before you in the
Mm-hmm.
journey, and might need a little bit of like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, well, how do I do that? Or, what can I look into when it comes, or what's it about? Like, what is
Yeah.
streaming like? And so I wanted to be able to create content based around that kind of conversation. So I think that's kind of what birthed this podcast, is
For sure.
how to give back to the community after having learned the things I've learned. So, I mean, like,
Yeah.
what good is information if you just hoard it all to yourself? And there's
Definitely.
so much potential for content around this, and being able to give back, people obviously like that. And so what I started doing with last episode is I started listening to it and then writing down timestamps when we were talking about certain things. And
Mm-hmm.
then I'm going to turn it into like short clips and stuff like that, and then do like the full episode kind of sort of thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Just so you have a little bite-sized manageable content that's, you don't have to watch the whole thing just to get to a certain point, right? So this is really beneficial for everybody in the long run. It's beneficial for the community that we're providing for, in a way, because we're content creators, therefore we have to be somewhat entertaining,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
or put out some kind of energy that people enjoy being around.
Yeah.
And it's beneficial for the community. Like I said, they're learning some of these things, what it's like. And it's also beneficial for us for content. So I think it's a
Yeah.
big win-win, and I'm
For
surprised that
sure.
not many people have ever done this before. And so, I mean, being a first of its kind, perhaps, this could be, you never know. Like, when we talk about impact, who knows? Like, somebody might see this, might think, what, I want to do something like that. And then we might start being, other people might doing this more often. And,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
being the originals of something like this, like, in Fortnite's been around for how long? Like, how's
Yeah.
nobody done this? How have I never seen content on this?
Right. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I think
It's
this
a
is like a
super
big
good
missing.
original idea for sure. And like you said, it's like, I think there's like a saying. It's like, I'm paraphrasing, but it's like, it's important to like reach up for help, but it's also important to like reach back down to help others. So it's like, it doesn't matter where you are on the ladder. Like, you gotta help each other get to the top. So that's like,
Yeah.
this what this type of podcast can do. The possibilities are endless, really.
Absolutely, yeah, for sure. And there's so much giving back that we talk about manifestation, giving out good energy and all
Mm-hmm.
that stuff, giving out beneficial content. People are gonna be like, okay, well, that's good. Like, it's just such a big missing, and I'm so shocked that it's never been done. So I mean, it's cool to be a part of, and to be, I guess, the one to kind of be the one behind the scenes of making everything happen this way. But who knows what can happen from here, and like, the sky's the limit.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. Well,
Yeah. Oh, that's a wrap, man. I
sounds
guess
good.
for my chat, I guess TikTok and YouTube is where you're at, but are you on anything else as well where they can go and follow?
Yeah, I'm on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. I also have a Twitch. I don't really go live there yet, but as soon as we hit a couple of goals on our YouTube channel, we're gonna start growing up our Twitch page. So preemptively follow for that. I do post on Instagram and follow that like really closely. TikTok, I'm trying my best, guys. I will hopefully be seeing you guys soon on TikTok. You can follow there. I cross post a lot of things. But if you have any advice, feel free to reach out, message me. And if you are looking for advice on your streams as well, if you're like trying to build up your YouTube channel, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Probably the easiest way is on Instagram. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, I guess same goes for me. If anybody who, I know you're not as active on TikTok, and if some people are more active on TikTok, I'm super active on there. So same thing kind of applies to me. If you have anybody who's part of your TikTok that I like use TikTok more often or whatever, yeah, always feel free to reach out to me too for any things on stuff as well. And same goes for my chat as well. For anybody who wants to reach out to him that might be using YouTube more often too, yeah, feel free to reach out to both of us if you guys are always looking for ways to grow your channels and how to, what to do and stuff like that. So we're here to serve.
Appreciate that, man. Yeah, I know my community appreciates the advice on TikTok as well. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thanks
well,
everyone
man, thank
in
you so much.
Green Ranger's chat. Thanks for hanging around and hanging out, and my chat as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, shout out to Noceros Gaming's chat too, and yeah, thanks so much for everybody for being a part of this. It's been a blast to make something like this become a reality.
Yeah. Sweet. That's our wrap.
That's a wrap.
That's awesome.
That's crazy.
Good show, man.
I'm gonna end my stream here, and then I'm gonna restart her up again.
All right, brother. I'm gonna head out. It was good. Good talking to you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. We'll connect again sometime.
Yeah, man. I can't wait to see the clips that you upload from it. Hey.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be great.
All right. I'll see you in a bit.
All right, buddy.
All right. See ya.
See ya.